What we're going to look at here is how to apply some of the advanced triggers that are available in PicoScope to find and isolate errors in a digital design. So what you can see on the screen here is that I'm looking at a series of pulses. There are 3 pulses and then a gap, and then it's a pattern that is repeated successively. I've been able to trigger on that rather than doing a simple edge trigger. If I'd done a simple edge trigger, which I'll go back to and do, you can see that the scope will trigger on any of those valid edges. So that doesn't give us a stable display. So by triggering on a pulse width trigger, on a negative going pulse that is more than 500 nanoseconds wide, then I get a stable display of those pulse triplets, if you like. But if I watch closely, occasionally I just can see on the screen a pulse that is under height. It's a pulse that it should be either high or low, but it shouldn't be stuck somewhere in between. It's probably indicative of a setup and hold time violation or something like that. So what I can do, I've got a range of advanced triggers that I access through the PicoScope menu here. So we previously used the simple edge. There's an advanced edge control which enables me to apply some hysteresis to the trigger condition. There's a window trigger. The pulse width trigger is something that I've been using to capture this one. An interval trigger, a pulse width trigger, and so on. The one that I'm interested in for this application is what's called a runt pulse. It's an under height pulse. And if I trigger on a runt pulse, let's trigger on a positive going runt pulse, and you can see now that in amongst all of those successive triple pulses, ever so often there is one that is too short. It starts low, it starts to go high, but then drops back to low again without ever reaching its full height. So by using that runt pulse trigger, I can isolate that and start looking for the causes of that error. If it represents an error, start looking at the causes of that in quite some detail. If I expand the time base a little bit and maybe move the trigger position a bit further over on the screen, we can start to see the very specific characteristics of that runt pulse. And using the other channels on the scope, we can then start to see what's causing that. Maybe it's a setup and hold time violation, some crosstalk or something like that, but it certainly is a repeating error condition that we can find using the PicoScope trigger.